Hey everybody, OG Picker here, Dana in Southern California. Just wanted to pop out a quick little video here. I'm a reseller and I work on Amazon and eBay and Etsy and Craigslist and OfferUp and whatever. Any place that I can find to flip stuff for a profit, that's where I'll do it. So that leads to sourcing situations and where do you find stuff to sell? The usual places that people use are going to be estate sales, garage sales, rummage sales, wholesalers, retail arbitrage by finding clearance items at, Target and Walmart and places like that. And basically that's an awful lot of work for me. That's not what I want to do. I've done all of that and tried it all, and we're always refining the ways we do it. One of the ways I found recently, as you'll see here, is called online auctions. And these are not live auctions. These are usually, they run anywhere from 3 to 7 days in duration. You'll get an email notification. You'll see, like I got this one here. This was a local company to me called RL Spear. And they send me notices of auctions in my area. And when I say my area, I'm able to actually prune this down to be only within like 5 miles of me so that I can physically go and look at the items that I may be interested in bidding on. And that way I'm not buying a pig in a poke, because a lot of the auction places are notoriously poor at providing a useful picture. So you got to really kind of hone your chops on figuring out what it is they have and what kind of condition it's in, especially if you don't get to look at it. The few times that I haven't gone and looked, I've usually regretted it and ended up with something that it wasn't worth what I thought it would be worth, because it was beat to hell or missing parts or no power cords or, any number of things that could be wrong with it. So it's always best to go look when you can. And most of the ones that I deal with are, as I say, within 5 miles of me, and I can just pop right over. My primary one is this Levi Goldstein Auctions, and he's like a mile from me. So this is what one of their auction pages looks like here. In this particular auction, they have 540 lots, and this is the way an auction listing goes on. And this one actually has ended, or it's actually the process of ending right now. So you can see the listing here. They show you a picture of the item, a description, which you can then use sometimes to search for. So let's say I wanted to have see what this item is worth if I want to bid on it. This item actually sold for $11, but let's go over here and pop onto Amazon and see what it's going for on Amazon. And we'll paste that in there and search for it. And let's see what this thing looked like again. Okay. So it looks like one of these. These are selling for like $29.81 on Prime, $29.29. So that's, $11 would be more than I'd want to spend to get $29, because by the time I'm done with fees and stuff, I might make $10 on this one. So I would probably pass on this particular item. So that's that one. And then over on eBay, it's probably even going to be less. Let's just say here, take a look at eBay and see what they're going for on eBay. And this is typically how I do some quick and dirty research. If I really want to go farther, then I'll dig down into camel, and things like that, and see if there's a sales history on these items and see. And so they're running here. Let's look at completeds. So they're selling for $10 to $15 or so on eBay. Here's like new in the box. Looks like in good condition. Sold for 26 is a high, 29 is a high. Not a lot of money there, so I would pass on that one. That was just an example. This one has already ended. So we just scroll down and look and see what kinds of things I want to sell. Here's a drying dish rack. It went for, that's pretty good size. 60 by 70. That's huge. Anyway, let's see what this was looking like here. That was going for $44.99 plus $8.49 shipping, no prime, showing on that one, and that sold for $3.85. Now that would be a pretty good deal. Let's see what kind of. Take a look at it here and see if we can get some rankings. Got 4 stars. Ranking 456, 925, 457,000 in home and kitchen, which is, you know, it's not in the top 10% or whatever. So I try to stay in those if I want them to flip. I'm not trying to buy long-term, long-tail stuff. So, but I'd still probably at $3.85, I probably would have taken that one. Because as long as I went and looked at it and the box is not beat all heck and I can actually sell it on Amazon. So let's look down here. So here's a Brita filter pitcher, some coffee cups, another Hamilton Beach electric cordless kettle, reflector bulbs, party favor boxes, mid-century wood pen desk holder. That's a little harder to look up. You'd have to get off into, because it's kind of unique. Be hard to find. Another thing we can do here. Let's see here. Here's an item. Here's a Hansgrohe hand shower set. It sold at $15. Nexstar universal GPS dash mounts. As you see, there's quite a mixture of here. But let's see. Here's this one ended, sold at $19, a set of knives. This one's all ended already, too bad. But you'd be able to see. But one of the things you can do if you want to get a better look at something is, in this case, you can click on the picture on this particular auction. They give you a bigger picture. If you look at these boxes look pretty rough. These would not meet Amazon's standard as new. This would be used. I'd probably put this up as used good with shelfware, but item is in good working condition, you know. That's probably what I would do. So let's just go back to the other thing here. Whoop, not that one. Where'd it go? Whoops, lost it. There we go. We're back. So that's the way you look at the auctions. Now, one of the things you can do, this particular auction uses, this was actually almost done. There's a few things that either didn't get bids or not ended or ended in 1 minute. A lot of CDs, Sound of Christmas and classical music. That might be worth buying. That kind of stuff would probably sell. It's here. It went for not too much, $3.26, and it looks like there's, you know, 5 or 6 in there. It looks like a multi-set Christmas music set that would sell. You know, whatever. But you can put in, you can click on the next highest increment bid, which would be this one here. And you can put in your max bid and let it run and see what happens. And then you can go down and watch later on. Some of these things you can set up to be watched, put on a watch list, and go look at them later. Another thing that you can do is to, down here at the bottom, once you have a bunch of bids put in, you can click on refer bids. Oops, hang on. So here's my bidder number stuff so I can review bids. And this will show me, have a little agree thing to check here. Review bids. I haven't bid on anything here. So I can go back to I would just go back to the auction itself and bid. But I can see a whole list of all the things I want to bid. I print that list out. I cruise over to the auction site and I go look at all the numbers. And they all know me over there now because I've been doing there for over a year. I've been buying stuff every week or 2 weeks from them. So they know me. So they just let me go in and wander around and look it up. And I just take a list over there and I just mark yes or no next to the item on my list when I print it out. to decide if I actually want to continue bidding on that or actually bid on it if I've just put it on the watch list. So essentially that, when you're done, there's a buyer's premium, and they send you an invoice at the end, and you set up a credit card or whatever as a payment source or a checking account or however you want to do it, and they will deduct it from that funding source, and you can print out a paid invoice and just go over and pick up your stuff the next day. And that brings in quite a bit of product for me, so that often works quite well. So something to check out. And it's kind of fun. And the usual caveat about any auction type situation, don't get emotional about it. Don't get into that game of letting somebody drive you out a point at a time, and run the price up on you and stuff. You carefully. My typical pattern is to watch something. I'll either bid on it, a minimum amount just to put it on my list, or I will put it on a watch list and just monitor it that way. And say the auction is going to be closing like today, I probably would have started monitoring this auction last Wednesday or Thursday, but I actually wouldn't be bidding till this morning. This would started closing at 10 o'clock this morning, so it's already 2 o'clock here. So it started closing 4 hours ago. If we go down to the end of the auction, they probably are still running. So let's jump down here to page 9 and see what's going on there. Yeah, this one's still going. We still got hours to go on this one yet. Let's jump back and see how far in they are. There's a lot of stuff here. Quite a random mix of things. There's a water pump for a Ford and cargo covers for things. They're calling it electric sander. This is another thing. They've got a bunch of young kids over here that are identifying this stuff, and they don't know what it is, so they're calling this an electric sander. This is actually called a 4-inch angle grinder. But anyway, that's kind of funny. And sometimes that's a good idea, because if you know what it is and they don't, they've listed it wrong, people may not bid on it. And that holds the number of bidders down, which means you get it at a cheap price. But right now, it's already up to $7.50. That's stupid. This one is a cheapie. It's beat to hell. And you can get a decent 4-inch arrow grinder from Harbor Freight for about $22, $23, brand new, with a warranty. So I wouldn't be going on that one. So you need to know your product, what it is that you're looking for. But essentially, that's how I source a lot of materials. That I can then flip on Amazon and eBay and various places, Craigslist, something like that. I've made some killer buys, gotten entire lots of like VHS rewinders, like 30 units in the lot, and gotten them all for like $5 and things like that. And you're going to be able to sell something like that, $15 or $20 for one. So obviously a good deal. So there's a good way to source. So that's it. That's the end of that video, and we are done. Bye-bye.